Samsung and Timberland is in it.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised about how long in it. For whatever reason. These guys have all got remixes in the which is great. It's extremely thorough. It's never been used by because you guys already
Wow. Okay.
So I would, yes, I would love to.
Yeah. If you give me your information, like that would be awesome. Just because this is the stuff I'm really into. And,
Sorry.
I'm an intern. I'm in school right now.
Okay, no, my bad. It was blinding his eyes.
I'm working on it. I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to gather interviews. So I'm going to.
Eventually, you can.
Sorry? Yeah, I would love to participate. Okay, awesome.
Oh, we met.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm too terrible.
Okay, no, but I'm gonna definitely send him this if you give me like. Sorry?
We were going up the lift.
Yeah.
So should I have some?
Yeah, come join the team.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. And I would love to forward this information because I think it's super important.
It's really clever.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it goes with their mandate.
Hey guys, we're gonna get started here.
Come gather round.
So you've got Rob.
Join us for a little bit.
You've got the YouTube
I
channel.
do. You tell me when you want me to hit play.
Okay.
Or you can run it if you want.
No, just you can hit.
So we're live streaming from that camera right there, guys. So if you want to that camera right there.
All right.
Welcome to RHoK San Francisco. I'm Diggs. I'm founder of Geeks Without Bounds. Just wanted to welcome everyone. Hope you enjoyed the coffee provided by Nike's sustainability group, or the Nike Better World. So thank you, Nike. So we are going to get kicked off here. First thing I wanted to do was kind of do a real quick, we've got quite a few people here, but I think it's important to do this just at least once. I want everyone to just real quick, three things. Say your name, where are you from, and what are you passionate about? Keep it short and sweet because we got a lot of people to go through. My name's Diggs. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I'm passionate about helping save the world through technology.
I'm Matt. I've come down from Portland, Oregon with Nike. I'm passionate about getting the materials world better.
I'm Gordon. I'm from San Francisco. I'm passionate about solving interesting data problems.
My name's Brian. I'm from New York, and I'm passionate about software engineering and applying that in ways that will benefit the world.
Hey, I'm Rob. I'm worldwide. I'm passionate about the world's languages, all 7,000 of them.
I'm Christina. I'm a San Francisco native, although I haven't just always lived here. And I am passionate about technology in every dimension, helping solve the world problems.
I'm Najo, and I'm here right now, and I am passionate about helping people make better living.
Cool. My name is Angelo. I'm originally from Virginia, but moved out in San Francisco. I'm passionate about video game development towards education.
I'm Jason, originally from Chicago, but live in Berkeley now, and I'm passionate about human rights.
Scott, DC, with Amnesty, and passionate about empowering those who don't have enough.
I'm Trey. I'm from here in San Francisco, and I'm passionate about helping teams coordinate with each other.
John, San Francisco, passionate about product stewardship.
Lyra, currently live in Berkeley, and passionate about using technology to make the world work better.
Hi, I'm George. I'm from Oakland, and I'm passionate about helping people who are doing good work.
I'm Anush. I'm from a small town in India, and I'm passionate about exploring.
I'm Lasse. I'm from Denmark, and this is my course from Brandon Evans. I used to organize the ones in Denmark, and I'm very passionate about data visualization.
I'm Grace. I'm from Mountain View, and I'm passionate
Hi, I'm Neil, originally from New Jersey, now I'm living here in SF, and I'm really passionate about the environment and health issues, and trying to relate the two of them.
I'm Alicia, born and raised in the Bay Area, and now post-geographic, and I am passionate about too many things to mention, so today I'm going to work on landmines.
I'm Gavin. I'm from Canada, and I'm passionate about open data, open government, and how you can use public data sets to make life better.
Hi, I'm Padma from Bay Area, living here for 20 years, but originally from India. My passion is to help people who cannot help themselves through technology.
Hi, I'm Jonathan from Berkeley, passionate about really challenging development.
Hi, I'm Anoop, currently from San Francisco. I am passionate about applying technology to solve problems.
I'm Andrew. I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm passionate about good design and trying to solve the unemployment problem.
Hello, I'm Andrew as well. I'm originally from the States, but have been in Paris for 8 years, and I'm very, very passionate about global SaaS.
I'm Matt from Monterey Bay Area, and I'm passionate about prototyping and helping to show people how easy it is to turn their ideas into physical reality.
I'm Tanya. I'm from Oxford, England, but living in London, and I'm passionate about giving people access to the tools that allow them to articulate and advocate for their rights in the context they understand best.
You can't hide.
Okay, I'm Ariel. I'm from Montreal, but I'm interning with Code for America for the summer, and I'm passionate about many things, I guess, but I guess advocating. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Terry. I am living in Berkeley, post-geographic, I like that. And I'm passionate about building bridges between aspirations and operations, and this weekend particularly between linking inventors of biomedical devices with users in low resource settings.
I'm Todd with Second Muse, and we're the global operational lead for Random Access Payments, and so it goes without saying that I'm passionate about helping bring together a bunch of passionate people with diverse passions.
Todd's a passionate guy.
You have no idea.
Yikes! Moving on. This could turn into something very different.
Hi, my name's Christian. I'm originally from the Netherlands in Philadelphia, but now live in Oakland. And I am passionate about helping people use online maps to do great work. And I'm also the Google representative on the Random Hacks core team.
Hello, my name is Bilal. I'm from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I'm passionate about connecting people together along with tools to solve their own problems. So open source technology and hackerspaces and communities. So how does that all work together? Maker Faire, Kickstarter, and in specific right now we're trying to do that in the context of landmine extraction.
My name is Murtada. I'm originally from Iraq, and I'm also passionate about a lot of things to say, but today I'm hoping to work with on landmines as I've seen the effect and the impact they have on people, and hoping to reduce and minimize their existence in our world.
I'm Christina. I'm passionate about innovation and business development, particularly for social good, and I'm from here, San Francisco.
Hi, I'm Arai, and I'm from Berkeley. I'm passionate about sexual health and the connection to technology, so using technology to spread better sexual health messages.
Hi, I'm Sharan, originally from India, but now in Oakland. Passionate about health, both at the individual and population levels.
Hi, I'm Celine. I'm with Social Coding for Good here in San Francisco. Passionate about creating chaos that helps people find each other and do good in the world.
Hi,
I got it.
Hi, I'm Leah. I'm from Philadelphia too. And I'm passionate about public health, medicine, GIS, open data, and empowering and engaging people.
Hi, my name is Claire. I'm French. I come from France, and I'm passionate about citizenship and entrepreneurship.
I'm Dan. I'm a native Angelino, although I live in Mountain View now, and passionate about robotics and geo applications, and also trying to balance the karma for spending more than 20 years in the breaking things and killing people business. So that's why I'm here.
your name, where you're from, what you're passionate about.
I am from Philadelphia.
Oh my gosh.
John Brady today. And I am passionate about systems.
My name is Alex Dong. I'm from Seattle, Washington. Flew down for the week with AT&T, and I'm passionate about hackathons, evangelism, teaching people about how to program, just spreading the word about application development, and doing what I can within the our gray walls and Fortune 500. So.
I'm Gerardo, and I'm originally from Puerto Rico, but I live here in San Francisco, and I'm passionate about getting more developers contributing to humanitarian free and open source software.
I'm Kevin. I'm originally from Seattle. I'm living in Florida now, and a couple of things I'm passionate about are free software and open data.
Cool. We get everybody? I think so. All right. So to get started this morning, we have several people who have problem definitions, and these are stuff that they've been working on, identified. They're generally subject matter experts in the field that they're going to be presenting about. Their goal right now in the next half hour, 45 minutes, they're each going to have about 5 to 10 minutes to present to you what they've identified as an issue and challenge the developers here to come up with a solution. And after they're done, we're going to kind of break off into little areas, and so you can go and ask questions and see if you want to possibly join that team to hack on for the rest of the weekend. You're not required to join one. If you have your own idea of something you want to work on, you're more than welcome to do that. If you would like to learn a little bit, George has offered to give a little overview of crisis tools, open source tools that are used in crisis response. He has a wealth of information. I learned pretty much everything I know about crisis tools from George. About an hour you've got that you're gonna.
Yeah, it'll be an hour. It's what it's gonna do. It's gonna cover the entire process for deploying these types of systems during crises and disasters, with a particular emphasis on the security issues around acutely hostile environments. So revolutions, areas where there's hostile governments and other bad actors.
Yeah.
And it'll cover the entire deployment, and you're welcome to kind of come in and go out as you please.
And you're going to do that in that room right there. Just decided that. Without further ado, let's get started. Some people have some video portions or slideshows. Not everybody has one. Was not required. But why don't we start with who do we have queued up first? Amnesty.
Cool.
So why don't you come up? Tanya from Amnesty International.
Sure. I'm Scott. This is Tanya. We also have another colleague over here, Jason. And really our problem definition is about a recurrent problem everywhere, which is access to information. This is my first RHoK event, hackathon, and it's really well suited for Amnesty and the way it functions, which is whether in the global south or north, rights holders or activists bringing people together to advocate on those who are voiceless either by design of someone or because of structural inequalities. So our problem definition is around migrants coming through Mexico into the U.S., the challenges that they face. I should note that there's a similar, though different region problem definition going on in the Berlin RHoK event. So geography has several hours ahead of us. But
they're hooked up to talk to anyone who works with us as well, so it can be a bit of a cross discussion. They're already working on some really interesting things related.
Sure, and we had minor logistic challenges with bringing in a few folks who directly experienced the problems that our problem definitions are meant to address. So Tanya's queued up, I think, a few-minute video clip to help get some background.
So this was taken in Mexico with Amnesty staff visiting the actual the shelters, system of shelters that are set up to support migrants.
El Salvador, con la intención de llegar a Estados Unidos, mas yo sabía que necesites valor, o a lo mejor me quedaba en el camino.
Viajan cientos y cientos de ellos, viajan niños, jóvenes, viajan en medio de la oscuridad, en medio de la noche, en zonas desérticas, donde no existe nada, no existe ningún mecanismo, ninguna institución, ninguna autoridad que esté previniendo el secuestro. Entonces, eso hace que los migrantes sigan siendo vulnerables.
Nosotros en Honduras le decimos secuestradores. Yo fui el último que me golpearon, pero me dieron gran madriza. Aclamé a Dios y ellos dijeron, aquí no nos andes mintiendo, es ese Dios, aquí nosotros somos dioses.
Si tuviera alas como de paloma, yo volaría hasta encontrar la solución a mi grave problema.
La mayor parte de la gente siempre la agarran. Los secuestran y le sacan dinero a sus familiares. Y si sus familiares no pagan, pues los matan. Eso es muy duro ahorita, la cruzada para arriba.
No me gustan las injusticias. No me gustan las injusticias. Nunca imaginé que todo lo que se vivía, se sabía de que era difícil cruzar a Estados Unidos, pero nunca me imaginé todo lo que se sufría. Pero se siente uno feliz de poder ayudar a otros.
Son 3 fronteras las que tuve que cruzar, por 3 países ando de indocumentado. Es la misma que me hicieran saber cómo es posible que me llamen extranjero.
Ya.
Okay, so there are any number of challenges that irregular migrants, and these are migrants, many of whom for economic promise, or many are trafficked against their will, find themselves in transit. And one of the challenges that we have is certainly access to information, both because, as you've seen, there's a lot to be afraid of, both when you're talking about non-state actors, those who extort, kidnap, coyote smugglers. But of course, there's plenty to be afraid of as it relates to state actors, police, many of whom extort money as well. One of the challenges is we don't really know the full extent of the human rights violations. We have witnesses, we do have testimony, we're able to collect it, but we know it's just one portion of that. So our problem definition is really about information. And you know, if you read the definition, you can see the range of human rights violations that we're talking about, but it ranges from everything from kidnapping, sexual violence, murder, extortion, and the like. In addition, if you put aside all of the human elements that make transit very difficult, there are geographic challenges as well, and many people ultimately wind up becoming mummies in the deserts. I've got a map here in our most recent report, and I can hand this out. All of these red dots indicate a migrant that was found dead. This is just a few southern counties in Arizona. There are well over 1,500 here. And each one of those, of course, left behind a spouse or children, mother, father, siblings, who have no information about what's happened to them. So we're really looking to leverage technology in order to access some of this information, to feed the information both back to families who are languishing in limbo, not knowing what happened to their loved ones, but also being able to feed the information back to potential migrants who understand what the risks are, who know precisely, essentially, where the dangers are in some space or time. So, for example, we could create some sort of simple, accessible digital system for networks of civil society groups that are operating along transit areas and along the border areas in the U.S. and on the other side of the border, and find some way to collect, aggregate, and share out this information. Maybe it's possible to facilitate some sort of check-in system along transit routes where people who have set out can be communicating back where information about the risks that they're facing, the challenges they're facing, to make it to human rights organizations, back to their families. And of course, there's security issues related to all of this. So one of the challenges is being able to create these tools, both given some of the technology for infrastructure that will face with these problems, while at the same time maintaining the security that's necessary to ensure people are actually using it. And how could we use video, audio, and the like to capture more of these stories, to capture more of the abuses, more of the challenges that are faced by irregular migrants, so their stories get out, so organizations like Amnesty and the many good civil society organizations who are working on immigrant rights in the U.S. and Mexico and elsewhere, they can effectively advocate for policy change to ensure the suffering is minimized. So the possible types of data that we're looking to record, things like numbers, routes. We know even a map of immigrant deaths is, even in the U.S., is going to be censoring a lot of information that we have to have access to in order to effectively deal with this problem. I think that's
So obviously it's quite a broad challenge as it seems, as it's laid out now. We do have quite concrete sense of what we want to get out of the weekend, and we want it to be a kind of collaborative process of coming up with the concept and solutions. So we're hoping that people who are interested in being part of something that's not necessarily well defined yet, but has a strong sense of where we want to go with it. And we're going to take whatever's created from this weekend as the building blocks to go back to our networks that we have on the ground, and these shelters, and from there initiate a partnership where we can actually get funding to create this and to pilot it. And we're looking at doing that quite quickly. So this is something that can have a real direct impact in the gap of waiting for kind of elusive policy changes between the US and Mexican governments. There is real things that we can be doing now using technology to support people on this route. There's also a double impact, which is just to say that this is a broader piece of work within Amnesty, and we're just at the beginning of it, which is about innovation and innovation within the human rights field in general, to think about how we can support the people that we work with and for in a way that's more direct. So not just using digital for fundraising, awareness raising, advocacy, but actually recognizing a very, very concrete need and how we can work as a catalyst to bring people with skills to people with the needs. So that's the broader trajectory of this piece of work, and anyone who wants to be involved, we've got a digital skills share on the 5th of July. We welcome participation, kind of ongoing participation if people are interested to attend that either virtually or in person. That'll be a chance to share with all of our country offices around the world and to really start to think of innovation, not just something that happens within the US and in the kind of global north, but throughout the global south, where this is where there's really the opportunity to make change, is if we can sort of mainstream this work across different human rights contexts in the global south as well. So anybody who's interested in the problem definition today, definitely come and work with us, but also if you're just interested in general, come and talk to me, because we're kind of up for conversation.
conversations, collaborations. This is a growing piece of work for us.
Thank you, guys. Next up, do you want to do yours?
Sure.
Okay. So, so ISIS, right? ISIS.
Yes.
And what was your name again?
Sharon.
Sharon from ISIS has. This is the first time you guys have participated with
That is
RHoK.
true.
Okay. And it's got a short little PowerPoint to talk about unmentionables.
Yes.
You want to come over?
I want to put you in contact with somebody.
We're going to try and do this old style using a PowerPoint.
One of the senior people that was working with refugees before, and she wants to use her
I have a friend,
technology.
Khalid here. Her name is Ari, and she'll be talking more about the exact specifics of the challenge and its requirements. But before I start, a quick background about ISIS and about the issue that we are trying to frame the challenge around. My name is Sharon. I work with ISIS. I'm the deputy director, and ISIS works around critical health issues using new media and technology with youth and young adults. Around a year ago, we worked with Ford Foundation, and we went and we conducted a very intense national survey looking at youth and young adults in the digital landscape, how they're using the new media and technology around their health. And although what I'm going to present to you as background focuses a lot on sexual and reproductive health, most of the things that I'm going to talk about are also applicable to other things or unmentionables that young people face, such as substance abuse, mental health illnesses, and depression, and dating violence, and relationship drama. So what we did last year was we went out, collected thousands of surveys, did a lot of focus groups, in-depth interviews, and here's what we found. There are obviously health disparities between youth in the general population and youth of color, and that was reflected in our responses as well. Nationally, teen pregnancy rates among Hispanic populations are much higher than all other populations. Chlamydia, which is an STD, is 9 times higher in African American young women. More than half the youth aged 15 to 24 infected with HIV are African American. And a lot of the young people that we spoke to actually knew somebody who had become pregnant or had had an STD before the age of 18. And when we were talking to them and when we did some data research and literature review, we found that more than 90% of people will at least suffer one of these three situations before they turn 25. They might experience a sexually transmitted disease, they might experience substance or drug abuse, and they might experience dating violence. And these actually grow on to impact their lives subsequently in the form of infertility, mental health issues, substance abuse, addiction issues. And so these are unmentionables that continue to impact them even beyond their younger years. What I want to do is read out some of the data that we have, which sort of provides a background of why we are having this challenge statement. 24% of students have had 5 or more drinks of alcohol in a row, that is within a couple of hours, on at least one day in the past month. 28% of high school students rode in a car or other vehicle driven by someone who had been drinking alcohol 1 or more times during the past 30 days. 31% of students have been in a physical fight 1 or more times during the 12 months before the survey. 20% of the students had been bullied on school property during the 12 months before the survey. 12% of the students were obese. 15.8% of students were overweight. So, around 30% of the students had body image issues. 11% of the students went without eating for 24 or more hours to lose weight or to keep from gaining weight during the 30 days before the survey. So these are all unmentionables that people don't want to talk about, but these are issues that are impacting our young people, and we want to try and see if we can address them through new media and technology. And every time we talk to young people, this is what they say: because of the development stage, their adolescence, they have the information, they might have the knowledge, but they, under peer pressure or other issues, environmental or otherwise, they say and claim and accept that they tend to act stupid. I'm going to pass on to Lori.
So the challenge is we want to collect data that is real-time data. Usually when the government goes on to high schools and middle schools, they ask questions. In the past 6 months, how many times have you had a drink of alcohol that was excessive? And so people are, obviously they don't remember. I mean, 6 months, it's a long time to remember, right? So we want to collect, we want to really change, we want to know what the youth are doing and what are the factors contributing to this behavior. And so we want to collect data in real time. Perhaps using a multi-player diary that it's going to make them go online and, or some type of application that is going to make them talk about their experiences as they're living life. So we're really looking for an app to have people talk about their real life. We want to provide incentives to engage them and play, because what happens is a lot of people have access to apps and whatnot, but they don't really continuously engage in them because they lose interest. So we want to have something that continuously engages them and makes them want to go and log in what they're doing. We also want to have we want to make this data private, so we don't have any intention of make it corporate and or getting profit out of it. We just want to know what's going on. This is also going to allow for larger reports to help people in public health trying to address these issues, because then we're really going to know what's going on at the individual and then make it more general towards the general youth population. And like Sharon said, we want to cover topics like sleep, sex, relationships, substance abuse, exercise, all these other topics that are unmentionable but yet happen among young people. And so we really look forward to like working with you and helping shape young people's lives better because they're our future.
And so quickly, in rounding up, we developed the Circle of Six app, which is for prevention of sex abuse and dating violence. And it's a very cool app. And then we went ahead and won a White House award for it, and it immediately lost the cool factor. So, but all that to say that we have experience and we have past success history in developing new media and technology for youth and young adults, and actually taking it to the young people and having them use it to with different programs with different degree of success. But what you want to do is, pose this challenge to you. It is a difficult thing. We are asking young people to mention the unmentionables, which is contradictory by its very nature. But we hope that you will take on the challenge and come up with something very, very cool. And we promise not to give you the White House award, so it will stay cool. But we definitely, our commitment is taking the outcome of the challenge and then converting it into a real app that gets into the community, that gets to the young people, and they get to use it. And we're here. So,
we have a lot of challenges and problem definitions to get through, so I'm asking everyone to keep it succinct, because if we keep them all 15 minutes, we're going to be here all day and not get any hacking done. So, but thank you guys. Next up, we have Matt from the Nike Sustainability team.
I will be extremely rapid. So our problem set is about materials and the environment, and to get straight to the chase, this is a huge issue. In fact, this is probably the single most impactful issue in apparel, the way that things are made. So to give you a sort of sense of what I mean by that, let's talk about coffee. We've provided the coffee. You're welcome. But so coffee, like 20 years ago, if you wanted to know where your coffee came from, if you wanted organic coffee or fair trade coffee or something like that, it didn't exist. Now you can get it in Dunkin' Donuts, right? You can get it everywhere. People have a much better understanding of where that supply chain comes from. So in the same way that where coffee comes from is important, where materials come from are really important. We want it to open up in the same way. So basically, what we've got here is we've got making. I'm trying to cut bits out. Making's in a place where coffee was about 20 years ago. So when you're buying materials, you don't really know fully where they're coming from, and that's a real problem because, or it's an opportunity for us to make better, because if you can't measure where these things are coming from, you can't improve the situation. So over the last 8 years, Nike have worked with the Sustainable Apparel Coalition and Duke University to come up with an index for sustainability of materials. And what this does is it lets you say, I'm making a shirt out of 95% cotton, 5% nylon from a good supplier. Is that better than making it out of 100% organic cotton from an average supplier? At the moment, it's just guesswork. But with this index, which they've taken 8 years to make and are giving away today, forever, you can make a proper decision on that. And that's kind of a big deal. I was going to show a film, but let's save some time. So basically, the reason this is such a big deal is because if you're a small business, and there are lots and lots of small businesses making these decisions, you don't have the resources to spend 8 years like designing a huge sustainability index. Okay, so you just sort of make a guess. This allows small businesses to combine together and pool their resources to ask suppliers the same important questions so that they have to make an answer. Because if I'm just one guy saying, are you restricting this horrible substance from your supply stream, it's not going to make any difference. If I'm hundreds of guys, because now we're all informed, asking the same question, the supplier's got to take notice. Good, that's that one done. So, what are we making today? Right. So, we know that designers really want this data, and we think it's really important that they have it. So, really broadly speaking, we've built an API that houses all this material data. We've built a framework that allows people to score suppliers' data. We'd love those pieces of information to get put into the hands of designers so that they can quickly, simply make materials choices. So there are two specific obstacles that we need to overcome for that to happen. The first is basically just the delivery one. The API is already pretty robust. We've already hacked on it once on a small hack day in Portland. So we think it's working fine, although if there are problems, we've got a development team that can address them, so tell me. But the delivery of that information at the moment is up to you guys, really. How that information goes from an API into my shirt is made out of this much cotton versus another shirt I'm considering is made out of a different amount, that's really open. So whether or not that's a plugin for like design software like InDesign, whether or not that's a mobile app, we know that designers make these decisions on the move, or whether it's something completely different, maybe it's pulling out from sort of supply catalogs that exist online. So that's the first problem, the materials problem, and that's in the API. The second problem is even more thorny, and this is the supplier problem. At the moment, it's very difficult to know, just like coffee, where 20 years ago, just like coffee 20 years ago, you know, it's very difficult to know where you're getting your stuff from and whether or not that's good or bad. So we need to create some kind of a database that asks the right questions of designers so that they can pass that on to suppliers and coordinates and crowdsources that information and somehow vets it for accuracy as well. So those are the two issues that we're trying to solve today. Eventually, those two problems, once they're overcome, make up the final score. So they have to be linked eventually. But today, if we could focus on one or two of them, that'd be fantastic. So this weekend is designed to find solutions to a huge environmental issue, and people who are working in this field really care about it. So if we make it, they'll use it. We're going to be testing it with London College of Fashion students over the summer and the fall. They're going to be designing a product line. So stuff is going to be made with this information very soon. I hope it can be stuff that you have made. Thank you.
Who else do we have? Yes. Sorry. I will be quick.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm Gerardo Capiel. I am with Benetech, and now that I'm blind, we're a nonprofit here in Silicon Valley, and I run engineering at Benetech. And we work in 3 areas: literacy, human rights, and the environment, and creating open source software around that. Did I put this thing in right?
Is it funny?
Try again. Let's take it off. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. Hit that. So we have 3 problem definitions that we're going to be talking about, and I'll be quick through them. The first is related to our project called Bookshare. Bookshare is the world's largest library of accessible ebooks for people with print disabilities, blind, dyslexic, quadriplegic, people who can't use a regular print book. And today we serve over 200,000 students in the U.S. So accessibility has a lot of the problems have been solved today. So for example, if you have a book, people can listen to it because the text can be spoken through a text-to-speech engine. However, the issue is that when you get to these images, what is the text-to-speech engine done? So all those images in textbooks need to be described. And we have put together an open source application that's used for crowdsourcing image description. So here's that triangle. Someone can write, a subject matter expert can write a description here. The challenge that we're posing for today is around how do we make that process more efficient, that crowdsourcing process. And so what we're challenging people to do is to use computer vision algorithms. And we have some sample libraries that you can look at that we haven't experimented with, but we think may have potential. And we have a sample data set of images that are in textbooks across a whole variety of fields. And so we love to see developers who have experience with computer vision, C, C++, Python, MATLAB, actually try to see if they can categorize images in those data sets. So put all the triangles together, put all the formulas together, put all the faces together, so we can route the images to the person who is best able to describe them, and they can do them in batch. So that would be a huge benefit to improving the accessibility of textbooks. Okay. Next problem definition here is our 2 problem definitions around our human rights program. So one of the open source applications that Benetech has created is called MARTIS. It's a secure information management system for human rights organizations. Today we have over 10,000 users across 60 countries. It's been used in very dangerous areas in Burma, Kosovo, Colombia, Congo, and so forth. And here's kind of a mini case study of how it's recently been used in Guatemala. And we actually now we started with 2 police officers being convicted, and now we're going all the way up to the former dictator of Guatemala, thanks to evidence collected with MARTIS. So what do we need help with MARTIS? So first challenge is around expanding the MARTIS ecosystem. So today, MARTIS, the way it works is it's a desktop application that people run either on their laptop or their desktop. They securely document the data and stories that they collect, and then those are backed up to the MARTIS cloud, or MARTIS server, better say, for security. So if that computer is confiscated, the testimony is safe, and it's been stored across a set of servers around the world. However, the world is changing, as we all know, and we all now have these mobile devices. And so what we want to do is actually enable some of the applications that are open source applications that are being created by other organizations for collecting evidence, such as Obscuracam from the Guardian Project, which is an open source app for taking photos, obfuscating faces on there, encrypting the photos. We want to make that application talk to the Martis server. Another application that's being used in the field that's based on Open Data Kit is called Kobo Toolbox. It's a forms builder and forms collection application that's on Android. We want to take that and actually integrate it with the Martis server. And so what we are challenging developers to do is, you can't see the bottom here, but is to essentially help us put together an Android SDK that can be integrated with these two sample applications or reference applications and have it talk to the Martis server. If you want to learn more about Martis, just go to martis.org. Skills that we're looking for are Android development skills. If you don't have Android, just Java will get you pretty far along. And we could use some designers too to help us kind of put together some wireframes. And where's Kevin? Kevin back there is the lead developer on Martis. So if you have questions about the technology, want to get involved in helping us out, talk to Kevin. Padma is also here, and she's the product manager on Martis. So the other person you want to talk to. The other challenge that we have around Martis is around, we're collecting all this great data about the truth of what happened, and now we need tools to visualize that information. So we are looking for people that have experience with data analysis and data visualization to help us put together tools to link bulletins, which is how we capture a testimony, link those together, clustering, other things that look like each other. All these data mining capabilities we want to bring into the Martis ecosystem, or Martis platform, better say. And then here's some other examples. We already have some teams in Europe that this morning I woke up and there were emails away of people asking questions. So we already have some teams in Europe working on some of these things, and we'd love for you people here to join those teams and work with Kevin and Padma to kind of take this to the next step. And I don't need to dig into that. So get to know Benetech this weekend, get to know these projects, and hopefully become an ongoing volunteer with Benetech and help us do social good. Thank you.
I'm gonna go for landmines.
Okay, you're gonna go for landmines.
I'm gonna go for landmines.
I got a little thing ready.
Oh, you got a little thing ready?
Yeah.
I was just gonna go like really fast and tell them what we're doing this weekend as opposed to the whole program.
Can we do it together?
We can.
And Murtala, you should come up here too.
And collaboration.
Okay.
In real time.
I've got to push buttons.
You go
basically.
Hold on. Could I ask the presenters to present from that side so that they face everyone instead of from this side?
The problem is that we're live streaming from that way. So.
But if you turn a little bit right, it's actually better because the block box.
I'm gonna have to turn my neck further if they're over here as well.
There's something called a chair.
This is something I have to do. Would it help if we kicked
They
you
were
in
having
bed?
some problem a second ago with the...
You were doing the job.
No, it was this that actually did the trick then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so while he's doing that,
Unplug it and replug it.
so we all know that landmines are a problem. They are a problem all over the world. In Iraq, there are enough landmines in the country to kill every single man, woman, and child living in the country today. And every hour, 3 people in the world die from a landmine. This is stupid, extremely stupid. Part of the problem is that we don't necessarily know where all the landmines are. Sometimes they're getting tossed out the back of a fleeing vehicle, a fleeing tank, and they know kind of like, oh, we put some landmines over there, but where they are exactly is a great big unknown. So if you know that there's a field that has them, that doesn't mean that you can safely say where those landmines are. This isn't World War II anymore. It's a very different situation. So how do we solve this problem? With, hopefully, remote-controlled and semi-autonomous vehicles that can fly around and detect mines without themselves getting blown up or blowing people or dogs or rats up. That would be awesome. And so I'm going to let Bilal tell you more about the thing now that he's got the computer working.
All right, so this, what I wanted to do is show you a lot of numbers. I know that you guys are geeks, and geeks like numbers. So here we go. This is a really big number, and that's the number of landmines that we, cumulatively, as the human race, lovely creatures as we are, put in the ground. This is the cost of the cheapest known way to detect landmines in a square kilometer. This is how many square kilometers are infected in Iraq alone, and this is how much it would cost to clear one country, Iraq. There are 80 countries that have problems with landmines. So a lot of you guys are mutts. One of your grandparents is from a country that has landmines. I assure you that. This number is the success rate for landmines, meaning when someone puts a landmine in the ground, they're like, oh, dear God, up in heaven, blow up an enemy. And they put this thing in the ground. And the number of prayers that work is 10%. 90% of those prayers go to somewhere else, and like they blow up people, like
our friends.
Our friends, your friends. Your grandfather's like cousin's niece is no legs. Bad, stupid. Okay, and as Lisa mentioned, 3 real people. So we've been up here talking for I don't know. It's been an hour since we got up and had that first presentation. 3 people, innocent people, more than likely, 10% likely. Like, okay, 3 innocent people have died since we've started talking today, and that's. I like your language, Lisa. Stupid, and we can do something about it. And so what I've started is we've got this little database, and this is Google Docs. Everyone, in Google Docs. It's just a database of organizations that are already working. There are some organizations that are working, like the UN. There's an organization that's trying to turn landmines into fields. There's a business, which is really cool. This is the business that makes that helicopter. Oh, shoot, that sucks. Okay, there's a video. There's a business that uses ground penetrating radar on a helicopter. But I don't know if you guys remember this number for one country. I saw what happened in Japan, and they developed an open source solution to like what used to be an expensive problem of doing radiation sensing, and they did it in a distributed manner. So this is how we can take care of kilometers and kilometers and kilometers. Is not going to be done by a single company or a single individual, or it's going to happen as a result of knowledge sharing. So we're here today to talk about the knowledge sharing platform and also the potential physical hardware that can be made lower cost through open source methodologies, and hopefully we can find a solution to that.
So what we're doing this weekend, if you happen to have come here and not have a whole lot of technical ability, but you're good at research, you're good at writing, then we are like the awesomest project for you to work on. You don't have to be technical at all. If you happen to have some technical skills, know anything about landmines, we love you too, and we would love to have you come help us. So what we've done, we've thrown up already like a really basic Drupal site. We just like threw it at the wall. This weekend, we're going to work on building that out into a knowledge sharing platform. And so what you can do, you can help us with the design of the site. You can help us figure out which tools we should be plugging into this. The reason it's on Drupal is because we can just plug and play. We don't have to write lots of code to make it happen. You can help by doing research and posting as much information about what's already out there and what's already known onto the site, because the more we have to get started with, the more we'll be able to get the larger community involved. We already have people who are passionate about this, who want to help us to create that platform so that we can create the solution. Thanks.
We'll also have a hip-hop competition later in the afternoon.
Babelverse, guys?
Succinct, right?
Succinct, keep it succinct.
Yeah.
Do we have a laptop attached?
If you want to plug
Yeah,
in, you can
right
plug
here.
in right there.
Oh, I have no internet.
Raise your hand if you have another problem definition to present that, okay? 2, 3, any more? So we got 3 more after this one. And lunch is on its way.
Oh, succinct, yeah. We actually want to create, Bowverse is a network of around 3,000 interpreters we have on our platform. These are multilingual speakers all over the world. And it all started in Japan last year, where we created a web application where people could volunteer their language skills to people post-crisis in Japan, like foreign aid teams and reporters on the ground, to help them with the language barrier that they come across. So we created a web application, but now we want to create a mobile application. Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea really is, in the case of Japan, we set up something very simple where volunteers could come on our website, say, I speak Japanese and I want to help out. I'm available for the next couple hours or however long I stay on the site. And people in Japan on the ground could just call a Japanese number, that's thanks to our friends at RHoKSF, call a local number and be automatically connected to an available interpreter. Now we want to make a solution which will be accessible in any crisis, be it a huge crisis or an individual one. So say just one person who drops down with an allergy reaction or something in a foreign country, we want them to be able to get somebody on the phone right away and be able to communicate and say what their problem is.
So what do we need for that? We're technical developers, but we need mobile developers. A mobile developer design. Don't worry about that.
We need Android and iPhone. We're going to use PhoneGap, so web standardization of JavaScript. We're going to use Tropo as well, so if you know that, that's cool. Also, what else? Ruby on Rails or PHP.
So just want to make a mobile version of that. And we have 3,000 people ready to go.
Yeah. We want to make an app where you can say, I need an interpreter now in Spanish, for example, and that goes out on Twitter with a hashtag like Help Japan or whatever it may be, and people could follow that and just volunteer. So,
that's it.
Cool.
I will. If someone will put the lens cap on this, that would be great. Thank you. So, I'm an engineer at Stanford, and I've just developed a 65-cent foldable paper microscope. I want to get it out in the field. I want to know if it's working for folks in sub-Saharan Africa. I want to know if it's working in the Antarctic. And I want to be able to see if this thing has actual legs to serve people all over the developing world. How am I going to find all those folks to do the field testing? I run a lab in sub-Saharan Africa. I have a budget of $25 for the year. I have streams of people coming in who need to have their blood tested. How the hell am I going to find a microscope that's going to help me be able to test their blood and do it in a way that I can afford? Now, these two folks are not going to get connected except by some random hack of kindness, perhaps, or some, sort of spontaneous, intervention from the universe. So I'm trying to find people this weekend to help put together a very early prototype of an open source portal that will help link people all along the chain, the supply chain, from the inventor of a biomedical device to the user of a biomedical device in a low resource setting, and be able to have the user put up their response and their information about what worked, what didn't work, how it worked, how it could be better. Now, some of the devices may already be out there in play, but right now there's not a way to do that matchmaking. And so it would be fabulous to have a designer type as well as some developers to be able to put something together that we can begin to prototype. And those stories are all real, by the way. Thank you.
I know everybody's tired. I'll try to keep it short. Map information is really important when there's a big international disaster. You might want to know where the shelter is located. You might not want to know which roads are blocked. You might want to know where there are people with problems. And you're trying to solve real issues like how are we going to route the supplies in, or which shelters we need to light up to serve the population that is affected. Unfortunately, what tends to happen is there are dozens of different organizations that are producing different kinds of data, whether it's satellite data or collecting problem reports. And it's very hard to get a handle on what you need for your team. So we're trying to build something that really serves map content creators, gives them an easy place to post their data. And it serves team managers who are, they want to wade through all of the available data, decide what's relevant to their team, and use a really easy drag and drop interface to build a set of data that's just for their team. And then they share it as kind of a cloud document to their team members. So they know that all their team members are looking at the same set of map layers. And whenever they change that set, the team members see the changes. We think this should be really easy. Right now, it tends to be something that you need a GIS developer to help you with. So that's the idea. We're looking for all kinds of talent here. For example, people who are good at writing, who are good at concept art. We're trying to figure out how do we explain this kind of system to disaster responders and convince them to engage with us. We're also working with the Association of Bay Area Governments. They're producing a common operating picture for the San Francisco Bay Area. So that's kind of a pilot study that we're going to be running over the next few months. And of course, we're looking for developers. We have a GitHub repo you can look at. We have a dev server that you can get a login for. So we're ready to kind of hit the ground running. Love to talk to you. Thanks.
Hello. How are you doing? My name is Angelo. My problems that I want to go ahead and solve is basically education. I'm actually a vocational instructor for adults with mental disabilities.
Louder.
Sorry. I'm also a vocational instructor for adults with mental disabilities, as well as an entrepreneur for video game designs. Actually, I have my own company called Vast Apps. I'm actually trying to meld these two worlds together, where I'm actually creating educational tools for the clients that I actually engage in. Right now, I'm looking for somebody who's very familiar with Unity. I have a couple of products already I'm in development, and pretty much just using those tools like Connect devices, motion capturing devices that actually help you teach clients or education through that. Again, if you're interested, I'm over here in the corner, and I can actually show you a demo what the possibility of motion technology is. So, all right, thank you.
So any of the other problems, if you're producing map data, we'd love to integrate it into our system. So looking for collaborations.
Cool. So I wanted to give Matt a chance. He's got a. Oh, you got one more pineapple. Sorry.
Leave me out again, man.
Can't forget about pineapple.
Can't forget about pineapple. I even brought the mascot in, you know. I'm here for the Pineapple Project. It's actually a multinational project. We already have developers that are working down in Chile, and we're trying to get Santo Domingo on the line, but they're having some problems communicating this morning. But we are focusing on, well, it's funny, speaking of mapping, that's one of the things we're actually looking at, is trying to create a grower's map and an interactive database where growers, mostly in the sub-Saharan, oh, there we go, yes, the pineapple. The growers in the sub-Saharan area, or in equatorial areas, for example, wanting to grow crops like pineapples, mangoes, whatever. One of the problems they have is not knowing what time of the year to grow and which hybrid to plant because of the changing climatic conditions. And also, once they do finally get their crop ready, where do they take it to get the best price for it so that they can make it sustainable and they can actually afford to live off of the fruits of their labor, literally. So that's what we're focusing on, is trying to put together tools to enable crowdsourcing of pricing data, climatic data, and to give farmers out in the field tools to access those so that they know what to plant and when and where to take their crop when they are ready to sell it. We started this at the Space Apps Challenge. just a little while ago, and we have 4 pieces that need to be integrated. So that's really what we're focusing on this weekend, is trying to pull all those together. We have a very rudimentary website you can go to at pinapple.org, leave the E out of pineapple, and that will show you the access to the database. It actually has all the growing conditions database there. We have a pricing tool, which right now is sort of separate, and we're probably going to leave it that way for a while because they're a very ambitious project trying to actually develop essentially a stock exchange for fruit sales, and it's a little bit more ready to integrate right now, so it's going to kind of be left off on the side. But what we do need help with is we have a design, we need to update the website, we need to provide access to some of the mobile tools that have already been created. We had an SMS tool that was created with Tropo, and we also had an iPhone app that was generated by a team in Nairobi, so we want to be able to get that source on there and to let people download the installers for those. So those are the couple of things we're wanting to work on. If you don't get a chance this weekend, I mean, there's a lot of projects and, you know, way too many things to do as usual. This will be an ongoing project, so just contact me later if you just like information. I'm going to continue on with it, and I obviously continued on to the Space Apps Challenge. So yeah, just let me know if you're interested either now or later, and I'll be over in this sunny spot in the corner there with the mascot. Okay, thanks.
So yeah, Matt has a pretty cool video that I thought would be cool to watch. It's applicable to his particular challenge, but it's kind of applicable to the overall theme of rock and making things and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to wrap up this portion of it with that, and then we're going to break for lunch. I'll give a little wrap up after we watch the video. So.
Very good. Yeah, so this is about what I was speaking about before, and I think about what a lot of us are talking about, which is basically putting information in the hands of people who make. So, is there sound?
Make no mistake, we hate sustainability. We hate that people don't even want to hear the word anymore. We hate that it has become a management decision that gets passed down like secondhand shoes. We're over it. We're here to unveil a new age of design, one that is about making better things and making things better, one that is built upon an insatiable curiosity and inexhaustible work ethic, one that gives the power back to the makers of things instead of makers of decisions. This is about better choices for better tomorrows. It's about opportunities, not obstacles, options, not mandates. We're talking about transparency, not confusion. This is about potential, to do things you never thought you could with things that you've always had. It's about time the do-gooders took heed from the good doers. So consider this your rallying cry. Reclaim your rightful positions as catalysts of progress. Rise up against the pencil pushers with unworked hands and uncurious minds. Go to your drawing boards and draft tables and workstations. Prepare to design things that matter. Prepare to change the way the world makes things. Prepare to redesign the making of making. Makers of the world, unite.
Lunch is on the way. Everyone who presented a problem, raise your hand. Okay, so if you're looking for something to work on, take a look at all of these people and go find them, ask them questions. If you don't have to pick one of these, if you start working on something with someone and you realize it's not really for you, you can switch teams. But for the next hour or so, this is about kind of figuring out what you want to do for the rest of the weekend. Food's going to be coming in, and we're gonna present. So Geeks Without Bounds and Benetech have an accelerator that some of the more promising projects that come out of this you can apply for to get mentorship for 6 months. So while we're eating lunch, I'm going to show a short video about that. And but right now it's about going to find these people and ask them questions and join a team. So have that. you guys can spread out and go to a corner, and
all right. So the team we've got in DC have already got 3 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, so what are they doing?
We're going to live Skype with them and have a chat and find out what they're doing.
What is that video called that you just posted? I'm gonna.
This one. We're calling it the making of making.
The making of making. Is it? Can I find it online or is it not?
It's on YouTube. I think it's on our. We've got a Tumblr site that we're putting all the information for this this hacker for the broader products on, which is NikeMakers.tumblr.com.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm gonna try and look for it.
Good.
Question. Matt, nice to meet you. So for the data that you guys do have, I've seen your presentation twice. Yeah, last night.
Okay. Still makes no sense. Sorry.
No, it does. I'm just curious. Like, so essentially, you're looking for. Do you guys have a lot of data as far as manufacturers, or do you need a tool to aggregate that data, and then a tool to actually present that data to designers or makers? Which one are you looking for?
Well, so the data about suppliers doesn't exist. What does exist is a framework. So that if we have that data, we can give them a score. Okay, so at the moment we're looking for a way to aggregate supplier data, which doesn't yet exist, but will exist as people start using it. And we've got a test in nomenclature fashion that are going to start populating this. So it's not a matter of creating a tool that is completely useless to begin with, right? It's useful for two reasons. Firstly, once you put in the information, you get a score, so that's great. But secondly, within the next couple of months, that list will be populated quite quickly for people who have to do it as part of their degree. So yeah, that's what
forcing me to do it.
And also ensure that it's like less biased, right? Because they're just doing it out of academic interest. So yeah,
For the framework you already have set up, what does that look like? Do you have like an API?
We've got an API that I'd like to separate the API from the framework that we're talking about. It just because obviously they're connected. The API gives you a score out of something. There are modifiers like organic content, recycled content, the way you dye the material, finishing, stuff like that. That adds more points or takes points away. And then there's the supplier piece. And it's the framework of the organic modifiers, organic recycled modifiers, and the supplier piece that is there but isn't part of the API. And at some point, maybe that supplier piece becomes an API. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a database and an endpoint. Yeah, that's the challenge basically. How do we make this something that we can crowdsource, something that people can find out what the supplier rates, and don't have to go through this framework every time if somebody else is already done it.
If you guys think for API, it sounds like you guys have like some algorithms or a way of scoring depending on what people input into that system, right? You said it's like someone gets a score, like so if the college student comes along, we get a list of some suppliers and manufacturers, you said they get some sort of score?
They get a score out of 100. So that means nothing to them. 100 is high, better, is low, better. We think maybe an A to D score, like a green to red indicator or something like that, would make sense. I mean, this index is designed as an indicator, not as a final word. And there's so many other things that go into sustainability with our product that this thing can't. So it can never be a final word. But as an indicator, it can be quite powerful. In fact, it can be amazing. That it exists.
And this is all going back with, sorry to keep asking you about your thoughts on it. So around so you have this API, this framework for how you're storing this data and potentially what you're going to do with that data, which likely a web service actually fill that out to some tools. Have you guys thought about like so say someone inserts the data and they get this ranking based on whatever. Say I'm this manufacturer. It's 6 months later and I've dealt with all the issues, maybe some crap that I dealt with. Is there a way to go like, hey, no, I got like a open a wiki kind of format where I can be like, no, I'm doing this now, or I have this kind of stuff. So is there a way to take that and make it more malleable so it's more current as opposed to just when someone set the data?
I think it has to be. It absolutely has to be because the state is always changing. But to the point of like, if I'm the manufacturer and it changes, should I be the one that writes it? I'm not sure.
Right, how does that get vetted?
Well, I don't know if it's vetted or whether it's just community vetted in the same way as Wikipedia is quite a good example actually. So that could be a similar model that we have for this. I don't know. The other part of it, which I haven't touched on yet, and Deep and Brian, which is and you guys have met David, Gordon, Brian, how's it going? The other part that I haven't yet touched upon that I think might be really interesting is the reality of the way that we want this tool to be used. Designers don't have very much time on their hands. If we can build something into this tool that makes it useful